What else haven't we covered in the history of dementia-wise that people are just dying to know?
Talk about the new logo. Who designed
The new logo,
it?
yes. So several years ago, partially because of MarsCon, we got this new guy called KJ, who's a graphic designer. So he's like, hey, let me design you a new logo. And I'm like, for God's sake, yes. The old one sucks. And it was right about the same time where we were moving from the old, which I wasn't able to show here, but I used to have a, what was before Flash that was horrible? Tables. I used to have tables set up to have the sidebar and the main bar, which I wanted to look, but it was, everyone hated how it functioned. We just had that stupid logo there, and like, this needs to change. So once we got the streaming audio manager, Sam, up and running, they had a really great web page interface. So once that was able to be made into the main page as well with the backup relay function, we just moved that to the main page. And like I say, future talk of Dementia Radio, what I want to do is move that all to WordPress so that everyone can log in and update content to a various way, which was part of my Dementia Radio podcast push. Is if you go to dementiaradio.org/podcast, that's all WordPress, and eventually that's going to merge in with the main podcast WordPress. So there's actually someone within the streaming audio manager groups that is custom making a WordPress for streaming audio manager, and as soon as that's done, then I can start integrating that in with Dementia Radio. So I think that's going to add a lot of new things to the site that we don't have right now. And the other thing I have to do is I have to fix it so that when DJs don't show up for their show, it doesn't have a big error message that shows up on the screen. Yeah, it should be a simple fix, but it's ever so slightly above my programming skills. And so yeah, I should mention that the current webpage was vastly written by Sarin, who used to have a show, who's now up in Canada.
Who's in Canada?
Yeah, he lost his job and had to move to Canada. It was like a couple months from being able to go to MarsCon, and then he moved to Canada. So we never got to meet him. But so he just covered my show for me a couple weeks ago and did an awesome job at it, from what I hear. And then, so many good things happened when Blacksmith started helping me write code. Because he actually writes code. So I used to have to manually go in and edit the schedule. So the schedules were always horribly out of date. It would be like months before I would edit the schedule. So he made a system where we can actually log in the back end and change stuff quickly. So, and now we need to get Wildcard to be able to have access to that so we can keep it updated.
Ken hasn't talked about his show yet, so talk about your show.
Not much talk about my show. My show.
We have one other section.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let's go ahead and then we'll go to you.
Yep.
Well, like I said, after I went to 2001, I said, okay, I'll go on the channel, start logging in, doing all this stuff, and I'm like, hey, this is cool, I can do a show. Wait a minute, I can't do a show, I'm on dial-up. And where I lived, I wanted to do a show right away, I was on dial-up. So finally, they got me to look up, finally, my area, joined the 21st century, and I've been doing the show since December 2004. Which is, I used to say it was the longest running show because a lot of people had breaks, but I've had some breaks too. So
Yeah, whoever has the longest running show is lost to the history of time.
Right.
So
continuously running.
Mine is the only show that's been on the schedule the longest, I think.
Right.
Not that I've done it the longest, because for a good almost 6 months I handed it completely over to DJ Brick.
Yeah,
because Mortar came back and he's like, I came back and Mortar was like, that's not your show, Bill, that's DJ Brick's. I'm like, no, it's fine. All right, what was the issue you had?
We forgot Static Bank phone 4 years ago.
The what now?
It's on there.
We didn't talk about when we lost the DJ.
Oh yeah, Blind Wolf. Yeah, that was just.
Yeah, I remember like trying to just in a sense of doing it, and we tell people that if you're not feeling good, you can cover for it.
Yeah.
We always were like out there.
For those in the room who don't know who he is, let's explain who he is.
So yeah, so we had a DJ on the show, on the station, who he casted on Tuesday nights, and he was blind, I think you can see a little bit, but we never got to meet him. One person got to meet him.
Luke, I think.
Who was that? What's that?
Luke.
No, it was someone went to Colorado, and it was probably Byron. I think Byron.
Oh, Byron met him.
Yeah. So he was always trying to get to the shows and whatnot.
His name was Jaimin, right?
Jamin.
I think it was pronounced Jaimin, though.
Jamin.
Spelled like
Jamin. So we still have, if you go to
I
the...
used to talk to him, and, you know, he bought Hedwig Robinson EP, and he was blind. I emailed him, like, all the files of the lyrics and the notes so that he could have his thing read it out loud for him.
Yeah. So he did an awesome show. He had a great radio voice, and we always were trying to get him to come to stuff. And he wanted to come to stuff, and it never happened, and I was very sad. So and it was the exact same year, just a couple months shy of Logan Whitehurst. So that was a double blow to Dementia right there. So
I remember the night there was the I don't know what you call it, when we were all on the next radio listening and talking about him, and there was kind of a tribute to him. I can't remember who did that.
That was done by Byron.
Byron did that stuff?
Yeah, Byron did a tribute show to him. I think it was the week, he died on a Wednesday, and then following Tuesday for his showtime was Byron doing a tribute show. And then after that, I took the show over, and it became... It was supposed to be also the new DJ Crown show. I was keeping it going, and then we decided that was also the time slot for if someone wants to try out as a DJ, they would use part of his showtime or all the showtime.
So we're the the Blasters War Room is still up on the schedule. We have no plans to take that down.
Oh no, that is the name of the show. Is Blind Rooms Welcome Association. It's now hosted by myself, Christy, and Trav, who's watching this convention.
Yeah, he's 3 hours away. Why the heck isn't he here?
We had another convention last weekend.
Who cares about Conclave? Conclave's dead.
So we had to work this weekend because of that.
I remember that night people were calling into the show, and it was real emotional, and I believe, if I remember correctly, members of Blindville's family were like...
they were nice people.
Yeah, and I don't think they fully realized, how many friends out there in the world he had.
Even though we never met him, it's that's the power of...
And the next year they come on, they're using his logo, and we're like, who the hell?
When they come on, it's like...
I haven't had a chance to actually go to his funeral, but it was because it's in the same part of New York State, kind of close to where I live.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't do it because of scheduling.
Yeah. So Christy had a hand.
I actually met his mom and sister.
Oh, that's cool.
After he passed away. He was actually supposed to come out to Direct Toasters concert in Pennsylvania. I think New York, Pennsylvania area is where he was from. He was going to be visiting home. He was supposed to come out to the show, and instead his mom and sister.
That's cool.
Didn't he go to a war tour one time?
Yeah, I think he went to some show in New York that Duke and Shoebox were at, but I don't remember what it was.
Might have been one of those
Like
live fests.
college or something. I don't
It
remember.
might have been like a Long Island
Ask
icon.
Eagle, it might have been, Icon or one of the Nipple Blues or something.
That was the Bluesy. They went to one of those.
Oh, yeah, you went to one nipple.
And then, we should mention that Ken has, on many occasions put together a big van full of people from the Chicago area and outlying areas to caravan up to Marscon, and so we call it the Dementia Fun Bus, and we've nicknamed it the USS Blind Wolf.
Yeah. And then we had two. We have the USS Logan.
When we had two, one year we had two.
USS Whitehurst, yeah. So anyway, is it about time for...
And even Luke had...
It's about 8-2-2.
I call my car the SS Ziploc.
So, bringing up to the present, right?
Yeah.
Has anybody been following J Kitty over the past?
Oh yeah.
Did you know what happened last night, Bill?
No, I didn't. What happened?
J Kitty now has the most listeners of any show, 105.
105.
She beat my record!
Drake Mandino has 85.
89 or something?
Didn't happen.
Holy shit.
Yeah, okay.
I held the old record, wasn't that, didn't I have
55.
You had 63, I thought it was.
Yeah. So we should talk about the days where you used to max out the server.
Yeah.
You used to only be able to have 32 listeners. And if you went to,
30 I need, right?
it was 30 something.
Yeah.
And if we went one more over, no one could listen because it would just crap out the server. So Luke every week would jam the server, and we used to have to, people would like start listening hours beforehand just to reserve their spot.
Yes, I know.
Because every Thursday, Luke posts all over the internet. Listen to my show.
Yeah.
I had to actually stop recording them because I was taking up 2 slots.
Right.
Because I didn't know, because my recorder at the time, a different recorder, couldn't give me a listen streak.
Right.
And now I use a different recorder, so if I have to drop, I can just listen to what the recorder says.
So yeah, but we finally got a better server and gotten listeners. But now we can support up to 200 listeners on. Actually, that was the old server. We could have 200 listeners on both streams. But now that we have one stream, we can probably go for 400.
Up to 400? Not 400?
So what's the new record now that Jay Kitty said?
105.
105?
There we go. Hey, we just made history.
Oh my God.
The night before the History Channel. There you go.
She lives in Ohio, so why isn't she here?
She heard
It was all her diabolical plan. Wait for us to be all in one place.
and all of us were listening. So who should get listening?
Andy Park.
Andy Park has something to do with it.
Okay.
Every pub was doing CD release after the D show. So she got everyone who was waiting for Every Pop CD release to listen to her show.
Nice.
Going back to the old servers, you remember, I don't think you mentioned it, I had to listen on dial-up. You would be 3 songs ahead of me.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
The lag on the old dial-up was
And then I would
horrible.
get dropped.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so everyone was always talking about the great song you were playing, and I could go,
What was the, let me just ask you a question. Why?
Because I'm an ecosystomaniac and I like people to listen to my voice.
What about the rest of the
Yeah, pretty much the same. So I mean, it's just we all admire. I have tapes from when I was a kid, and me and my brother would play DJ. We would have a record player. We would spin the record player. We hit record on the recorder. We play DJ, and so it kind of stuck. And I always wanted to be a DJ. And it's just fun to chat with all my friends. Every night when I'm bored. I just go chat with my friends online. So
This has become my social group.
yeah, it's one of my social groups. I have 5 or so. But I try to intermingle them. Like I just joined a new group called I3, which is a hackerspace, and I now do my show from the hackerspace. Some of them actually, when they're around, contribute to the show, which is cool. I got to tell you this story. You'll love it. I was at the space, which is like 8,000 square foot, just warehouse space. And I was there by myself one day, and I plugged in my Zune on random, and then I had to run to Home Depot real quick. So it was like 5 minutes. I left, came back, and by and I had my Zune player like cranked up so I could hear way in the back. And I came back, and another guy had showed up, and he's like, "What is that song about the cat and the vacuum cleaner?" So there was another point I was going to make about Dementia Radio before we left. And
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
party?
The room party tonight is actually going to be moved. I said 446. Ken and Jared are right next door to the con suite. So we're going to have it right next door to the con suite. What's room 206? Will be the
She'll be right next to the living party.
yeah.
I have to go get it.
Yeah, so we're going to do it right now, and then you guys have a show at the main stage right now?
Yep, thank you, Carrie.
So that's
Dementia Radio.